What's up guys, Fly here, and welcome back to my journal. I didn't think I'd be making one of these for a good while, but here we are. Also, sorry if I randomly, sound like I'm in pain or holding my mouth. I have my wisdom teeth coming in the minute, which is being a real pain in the ass. That's a story for another time, though. What I've gone through with these will be a story for another time. What I want to talk about right now is a bit of the past. Specifically someone I don't talk to anymore. So, there's this guy who I used to be really good friends with, and I haven't seen him in a very long time because after a bunch of things went down, I chose to distance myself from someone who he had got close to, and in turn, because I wanted to be distant from one person, I distanced myself from both, which resulted in a big row and yada yada. I'm not going to go into the specifics because that's not fair on them. So, I've recently been, I guess, kind of missing playing games with them, which is stupid because I shouldn't be, especially after everything, but I can't lie, I do, and it's annoying. So I wanted to make this little journal entry to sit down and talk about what's going on in my head about it before I do something stupid like message him or some shit, because that's just a bad idea for everyone, I think. Probably. Because sometimes it's always better to leave the past in the past and look forward to the future. Or some philosophical shit, I don't know. I'm just a dumb 23-year-old trying to live their life. And it's just doing shit. Oh. But anyway. So, I have been somewhat missing this guy as of late, and I gotta think of a name to call him. What would be a good name? Donald. We'll call him Donald. Okay? So, Donald was an old friend of mine who I had met back in, 2018. Actually, there's no I had met him in 2018, towards the end of it. And we used to row a lot. But it's like one of those friendships where you hated each other at first, and then you became friends. I guess is the best way to put it. We used to piss each other off and row all the time, but then we'd be friends within, 2 days. Being like, you want to hop on some Fortnite? And he'd be like, yeah! Or he'd be like, you want to play some COD? And I'd be like, yeah, fuck it, why not? Oh, but yeah, anyway, continuing on. Me and Donald were pretty good friends, and it wasn't until the ending years of COVID, so 2022, 2023-ish, where things start to shift in our friendship. And honestly, I'm disappointed in myself for letting someone get between our friendship, but that's something else entirely. I still had a lot of growing up to do. But, continuing on. So, we stopped talking in the end of 23. Yeah, sometime towards the end of 23. Or it might have been early 24. Hang on, let me check. Oh, it was early 24. Oh, okay. Last time we spoke was the 9th of the 3rd, 2024. Which, few Americans out there would be 0309, because you do month and then day for some reason. But the 9th of March was the last time that we had messaged. But, yeah. So yeah, that was the last time we spoke, and then I was on stream, and I was talking to some other friends about the fact that I was probably gonna end up cutting him off, because he was obviously with someone that I wanted to distance myself from, so I made the decision. He caught wind, and it ended in a big row. And I'll admit, I regret how that went down. I wish I wasn't such a pussy and sat down and talked to him the way I should have. I regret not sitting down and talking to him the way I should have. Like I said, I still had some growing up to do, and it's taken me until, like, halfway through last year to actually get to somewhere I want to be. But yeah, I regret how that went down. I wish I had taken the time to sit and explain myself to him, and explain how I was feeling, and explain why I was distancing myself and everything. But my brain was so all over the place, and I'm such a pussy with fucking confrontation that I just couldn't do it. And I've been regretting it ever fucking since, because I lost someone who I cared about, a really good friend that I had cared about. And yeah, we both made bad decisions there. We ended up hurting each other quite a lot. But you know what? If we had sat down and actually fucking talked about it, if I had sat down and actually talked about it, maybe, just maybe, things wouldn't have gone as south as they did. We could have ended on a high note. We could have stayed friends. We could have just, I don't know, stopped talking for a bit. Anything but what happened. I regret how it went, as I've said. And, like, what had happened, we had friends that had warned us what we were doing shouldn't, like, happen. Like, we shouldn't do what we're doing. It should stop. And it took me a long time to listen. And when I finally did, I had to take time to pull myself together. And that time involved separating from someone who he had become close to. And in turn separated us. And, like, the others had also warned him, at least to my knowledge, like, hey, this isn't a good idea. If you do this, like, we're out. But he chose them anyway. Which, I mean, fair enough. We all make decisions, whether they're good or bad. I'm not going to say if it was a good or bad decision, because it's not my place to say that for them. It's up to them if it was a good or bad decision. But I don't know. I miss the guy. I hate myself for missing the guy, but I miss the guy. Why do I hate myself for missing him? Because of everything that went down. Because of everything that happened. And, like, I had vowed to myself that I would never speak to him again. And yet, here I am. I find myself, when I'm alone, wanting to send him a message. Wanting to be like, hey, you okay? It's been a while, and I just wanted to check in and see how you were doing. But I can't do that. I can't just send him a message out of nowhere, being like, hey, how are you? After all of this. And that's the worst part. Because I really do want to send that message. But one, I don't even know how it will go. For all I know, he could just fucking tell me to go fuck myself. And I mean, yeah, fair enough. I deserve that. But then there's the case of he answers. Okay, then what? Like, what do I do then? I don't know. I want to talk to him, but I don't want to talk to him. I want to talk to him, but I can't talk to him. I don't know. And I know I've been saying I don't know a lot in this video. And genuinely, it's because I don't know. People will tell me it's a bad idea, other people will tell me it's a good idea. And it's like, I don't want to make a wrong decision. But is there really a wrong decision in this? Do I just do it and say that I tried? Do I leave it where it is? What the fuck do I do? This is like, there's no arrow pointing the right and wrong way. There's nothing that's going to tell me, is this the right choice? Is this the wrong choice? This is just something I have to figure out if I'm going to do it or if I'm not going to do it. And what would happen if I did? Do I message him and apologize? See if we can talk it out? I'm gonna give it some more thought, because I've been sat on this for a few months now. So I'm gonna give it some thought and figure it out from there. But I don't really know what else to say, and I'm just gonna keep rambling and repeating the same points if I keep going. So thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.